So today, let's get into the master plan of a cultural titan. Seriously, this is a guy who's a rapper, an actor, an entrepreneur who didn't just have a career. He literally designed it. From the streets of Compton all the way to the Hollywood Hills, we're looking at the man who built the legend of Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson Sr.
All right, let's kick this off with a bit of a riddle. What on earth could possibly connect the raw, unfiltered world of gangster rap with the super precise, calculated discipline of architectural drafting? Well, the answer, it turns out, is one person. You see, before the world knew the icon, there was just O'Shea Jackson. Born in South Central LA back in 1969, he was a good student who loved football and music. And he was trying to navigate a neighborhood that was being defined more and more by what was happening on the streets. But his rise to fame with this little group called N.W.A. would give him a new name, one that became totally synonymous with rebellion, with reality, and, well, with a career that would span decades and pretty much defy every single expectation. So where did that iconic name, and really the whole mindset behind the man, actually come from? Let's peel back the layers here, because the origins of this icon are genuinely surprising. Okay, so this right here just completely flips the script on his public persona. Before N.W.A. ever had their explosive debut, he earned a degree in architectural drafting. And that legendary name, it didn't come from the streets. It came from a fight with his older brother who threatened to stick him in a freezer until he became a literal ice cube. And somehow, against all odds, that name stuck. And this quote, this just perfectly illustrates the core of his whole story. That background in drafting, it wasn't just some random fact. It was a philosophy. This idea of always having a plan, a blueprint, that became the guiding principle for his entire career, from music to movies to business. So how did that mindset translate into his first huge project? Well, by architecting a revolution. As a founding member of N.W.A., he wasn't just a voice. He was the chief designer of their groundbreaking and, yeah, incredibly controversial message. I mean, their rise was absolutely meteoric. In just 2 years, N.W.A. went from a local group in Compton to a global phenomenon that even got a formal warning from the FBI. But then, right at the absolute peak of their fame, the architect of their message just walked away over royalty disputes. It was a bold, calculated move that set the stage for everything that came next. To really get N.W.A., you have to get his role. Ice Cube was the lyrical engine. He wrote most of Straight Outta Compton. He even penned Eazy-E's classic track, Boys in the Hood. They called what they did reality rap. And you gotta know, Cube was its primary author. And here it is, the proof of their impact. That reality rap was so potent, so raw, that it actually prompted a formal warning letter from the FBI. This wasn't just music anymore. It was a cultural force that the establishment felt like it had to address directly. But you know, as all this pressure was mounting from the outside, fractures started to form on the inside. For Ice Cube, the fight wasn't just with the establishment, it was for his own value. Leaving N.W.A. was a huge gamble, and it kicked off this powerful rebirth that would lead to one of the most legendary diss tracks in the history of hip-hop. So after Cube left, N.W.A. fired the first shot on a record. But Ice Cube's response, no Vaseline, man, that was a lyrical atom bomb. He didn't just clap back, he systematically took apart the entire group and their management, all on a single track. It was a declaration of war, and he was more than ready to win it. His solo path is where you can really see that architectural mindset in action. When management blocked Dr. Dre from working on his album, Cube didn't panic. Nope. He called Chuck D for advice, flew to New York, and, through a chance encounter, he lands the legendary Bomb Squad to produce his entire debut. He didn't just find a new path, he designed one, fusing West Coast reality with East Coast production to create an absolute masterpiece. And the impact of that solo move, it's just undeniable. Decades later, another generational talent from Compton, Kendrick Lamar, would point directly to Ice Cube's solo work as the blueprint for his own legendary career. I mean, the validation just doesn't get any higher than that. So, with his musical legacy totally cemented, Ice Cube then executed the next phase of his master plan, a full-scale invasion of Hollywood, transforming himself from a controversial rapper into a genuine, bona fide movie star. And his range was just incredible. He went from a searing, dramatic debut in Boys in the Hood to co-writing and starring in the cult classic comedy Friday.
Then he conquered the mainstream with huge hits like Barbershop and even family films, proving he could appeal to literally any audience. And then he brought it all full circle, producing the N.W.A. biopic to tell his own story on his own terms.
But look, this versatility, it wasn't just art, it was a business strategy. With an estimated net worth of $160 million, he proved his blueprint for success wasn't just creatively brilliant, it was incredibly lucrative. But Ice Cube was never going to be content just being an actor for hire. The final evolution of the plan was to become the CEO, to build an empire where he was in control, extending his influence way beyond music and film. He pulled this off with Cube Vision, his own production company. And this was the game changer. By owning his projects, he went from being an employee of Hollywood to being a power player, seizing both creative and financial control over his own legacy. And his ambition didn't stop there. In 2017, he co-founded the Big Three, making history with the first certified Black-owned pro sports league in the United States. And by partnering with the NFL to support Black-owned businesses, he's moved beyond just building a career, he's building actual institutions. And this quote right here just brings us right back to the beginning. His whole career has been about this one idea. Whether it's sampling a beat, assembling a cast, or creating a business, it's about seeing the potential in all the existing pieces and architecting them into something totally new, something special. Ultimately, his entire journey is just a testament to this one powerful belief. He proved that if your blueprint is solid and your conviction is unwavering, there are absolutely no limits to what you can build. So this leaves us with a final question. For a career that goes all the way from F the Police to family comedies to founding a pro sports league, what does it truly mean to build a legacy? Maybe, just maybe, it means refusing to be just one thing, and instead having the vision to design your own world.